even during the WWE Attitude Era, curse words, in particular the F-word, weren't allowed to be featured on WWE programming. The F-word is often against guidelines for live broadcasting, and it will usually make sponsors and television networks extremely angry.
We will never, however, use the words
However, over the years, there have been a number of instances where an F-word has been slipped out on live television.
Alright, you.
And some of the instances of this occurring have taken place in a PG environment. But which times were they? Well, join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 times WWE dropped the F-word on television. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 10. Scott Steiner at Survivor Series 2002. Survivor Series 2002 featured the return of Scott Steiner, who had become a household name in WCW and had won the WCW Championship. When Steiner returned at Survivor Series, he would interrupt a promo segment between Matt Hardy and Christopher Nowinski. He would lay both men out, and after that, he would address the live crowd. However, this was Steiner we're talking about here, so it wasn't that simple. Once Steiner took out the two men, instead of naturally asking for a mic, he would yell, "Give me a f***ing mic!" Now this was edited out of the WWE Network version of the pay-per-view, but those watching it live back in 2002 got to witness it. Number 9. Charlotte Flair, TLC 2019. The main event of TLC in 2019 featured Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch taking on Asuka and Kairi Sane in a TLC match for the women's tag titles. During the match, Kairi was seriously concussed, which completely changed the pace of the match. During one point in the match, Asuka would hit Charlotte with a chair, and Charlotte responded by saying, "Time and oh!" A clear indication of how hard that chair shot was, and maybe in frustration on how the match was going. Number 8. Dean Ambrose at Extreme Rules 2013. Extreme Rules in 2013 featured Dean Ambrose winning the US title, which would be his first singles title win since making his main roster debut the prior year. After he secured the 1-2-3, he clearly had a lot of built-up emotion, as the moment he pinned Kofi, he told the referee to According to Ambrose, he got in a lot of trouble backstage due to this outburst and had to apologize to the WWE production team.
But I expected you, of all people, to be more open-minded.
Number 7. Liv Morgan at Elimination Chamber 2020. More often than not, there's usually a reason why a superstar will drop the F-word.
Alright, you.
However, for Liv Morgan at 2020's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, she just randomly decided to drop one live on air. During the Women's Elimination Chamber match, Natalya would point at Liv whilst Liv was in the chamber and said, "Elimination Chamber.
That, Liv? I like it. That's gonna be you."
For whatever reason, Liv hilariously decided to audibly yell, "Yeah!" in response. It was completely random, and it was only those fans who were paying close enough attention managed to catch it. Number 6. Mean Gene at SummerSlam 1989.
Gentlemen, as you know, the Ultimate Warrior. Fuck it. It's publicly stated that. Damn it, who put that up? Is that $200 an hour?
At SummerSlam 89, the legendary Gene Okerlund was getting ready to interview Ravishing Rick Rude and Bobby Heenan backstage, but that was until suddenly the SummerSlam sign fell off the wall and Gene responded by throwing out an F-word as Heenan and Rude tried to not break character. On the live broadcast of the pay-per-view feed would go back to Jesse Ventura at ringside whilst Gene recovered from the humorous incident. If you listen closely, you could also hear Vince McMahon saying, "Nice move." Number 5. Drew McIntyre, Raw Talk 2020.
I'm Scottish, I'm so sorry. Sometimes I get carried away.
Shows like Raw Talk and Talking Smack have the advantage of allowing superstars to cut unscripted promos, something they don't get to do on television. However, sometimes the superstars can get carried away with the promo and the occasional F-word slips out. Just ask Drew McIntyre, who whilst cutting a passionate promo on Raw Talk on the road to WrestleMania 37, decided to drop in a quick F-word. When Drew was talking about Sheamus, he would state, "It would have been simple. Just ask me. Just bloody ask me, your best friend. You want to do that live on Raw?
Sever our friendship. All that Sorry.
Yeah, PG.
Bleep me, please.
Bleep!
The moment Drew realized what he said, he looked to an off-screen production member and informed them to bleep it out. No doubt, similarly to others who have dropped the word in a PG era, Drew would have gotten a lot of trouble once he returned to the backstage area. Number 4, Randy Orton at Backlash 2020. Randy Orton and Edge had one of the most intense feuds of 2020. The two would battle at WrestleMania 36 and at Backlash in a match labeled as the greatest wrestling match ever. But in the Backlash match, at one point fans could audibly hear Orton drop an F-word. He whispered to Edge that he was going to Due to Orton whispering it under his breath, it wasn't edited out of the live broadcast but has been edited out of the WWE Network and DVD versions of the pay-per-view. Number 3, Brian Pillman and Raw 1996. The infamous Pillman's Got a Gun storyline was a storyline that took place in Raw in 96. It involved Stone Cold Steve Austin breaking into Brian Pillman's home and Pillman responding by aiming a gun at Austin.
Because when Austin 316 meets Pillman, oh my God, 9mm.
The feed would be cut but would come back towards the end of the show, and this time it would show Pillman holding the gun and casually dropping a number of curse words. The incident was extremely controversial, especially for 96, and all parties involved had to apologize for the segment. Number 2, The Rock on Raw in 2001. During a promo segment on the road to SummerSlam in 2001, The Rock and Chris Jericho would have a promo exchange with Stephanie McMahon, Rhino and Booker T. In the segment, The Rock was initially supposed to be cut off by Stephanie before he would drop an F-word in his promo. However, Stephanie missed her cue, meaning The Rock had no choice but to drop it anyway.
Booker T and Shane, the punk ass sucker, and the silver spoon, mother.
Apparently, this made Vince McMahon absolutely furious, and when The Rock stated that it wasn't his fault that Stephanie forgot her cue, Vince responded to him by saying that he didn't have to say the curse word with such enthusiasm. And number 1, Vince McMahon in Raw 2016. As we've clearly established in this video, Vince McMahon takes great offense when someone drops a curse word on television. However, when Vince himself does it, it appears to be a completely different story. In 2016, when Shane McMahon returned to WWE programming, Vince would inform Shane,
"Good, because I have one last opportunity. Fucking beating you, okay? Beating right in the face."
An unedited version of it can be found on YouTube, and it's unclear why he dropped it, but it certainly made the segment stand out and got a lot of people talking about the storyline itself, which may have been Vince's aim in the first place. But there you have it folks, 10 times WWE dropped the F-word on television. Did you remember any of these? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.